Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibottoms coming to you with another video review. And today, thanks to my patrons, we'll be taking a look at the new DC Collectibles Harley Quinn from their Batman the Animated Series line. As you can see for the package, really nice kind of collector-friendly package with a nice open clamshell right here, which allows you to fully see the figure, her accessories. You got some air holes here along the side so that the air on the inside doesn't get stagnant, kind of damaging the figure. On the side here, you can see Harley Quinn. She's number 12 in this series. And then on the background, you can see you got a nice image of Batman. On the back, you got that same image. It's just kind of inverted in terms of the colors. Down here, you got the various warnings, things of that nature. But the package is pretty much standard with what we've seen before. But Harley is definitely a character that has really grown on people. She was originally very first introduced to us in the Batman the Animated Series line. So I'm very happy that they actually made her as she appeared initially. But for the packaging, that's about it for her. It is pretty simple, so without further ado, let's get her out here and see how cool she actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Harley opened up and out of her packaging. And starting off first, looking at her accessories, just like all the other figures, she does come with this display stand with, you got a nice turnaround here with the front, side, and back image of her, as well as the Batman animated logo there. She does come with this clear kind of waist grabby thing, you know, it just has a little C thing right here, but you can see that it's got the long extended sort of bit, which kind of gets annoying, but I mean, I get it, and it gives a little bit more, I guess, poseability options for the display stand. I don't know, honestly. I much prefer the short ones like we get with the characters that have capes, but it is nice that they have this. And her feet do kind of make it a little bit difficult to stand, so this does come in handy. She does come with just this, as you can see, she just took a nosedive. Let's see if I can get her to stand. There you go. She does come with this little handheld gun. I don't specifically remember what episode this is from, but it just looks like a regular handheld gun with a really big round in there or something. And then she does come with a little Joker fish, which I think is hilarious. She does not like fish. In the episode of Laughing Fish, Joker actually made her take a bite of one of these fish, and she didn't like it very much, but you do get one of these little things, which looks really cool. And this is a pretty nice accessory if you want to just have, you know, something else to go along with Joker. I think that's really cool. And then in addition to the two kind of relaxed hands that are on her, she gets both a right and left hand that are in a gun trigger sort of position, so you can have her holding that gun, and you get both a right and left fisted hand. So you don't get a ton of accessories, the majority of which are just hands, which, you know, that's whatever. You know, I'm fairly certain that this is specific to an episode that she probably held a gun that looked like this. And then obviously this is a cool accessory that you could also use with Joker just himself. I think that in general the accessories that she comes with are kind of weak, but overall not horrible or anything like that. Now for the figure herself, I'm really quite impressed with how this figure turned out. It definitely has a very Harley Quinn look to it. Like I said, Harley was actually a character that was first introduced to us in the Batman the Animated Series. She was created specifically for that series, and I think that they really nicely captured the look here on the figure. You got the very nice, very clean, and very sharp paint here on the face. That looks really very cool. I love the big giant smile on there. For those of you that don't know, she was a psychiatrist that was working with the Joker and ended up falling in love with him and became his, you know, main squeeze and main henchman, I guess. But great detail. I really like how they have the actual diamond print there on the side. You also have that here as well as on her forearm. You come down here and she's got it on her shin, and then you come around and she's got the little diamonds on her butt. So I like that they actually have those pieces on there. You got the very iconic sort of jester kind of hat on there. Real great detail in the costume just itself, specifically in the way that it's, you know, layered and offset like that, where, you know, there's opposite colors. Really very cool. Now one thing that's, I don't know if it's on mine or if it's the way that it is, but you can kind of see that when you stand the feet up, and I'm going to come in here so that you can see this a little bit better, the black foot here points down more than the right side does. So it's like you have to stagger the feet like that to have them be kind of straight. If you leave it like that, you can see where, in keeping that kind of angled properly, you can see that the black one points down. So it makes it very difficult for her to stand because she wants to topple over. So you do have to, like I said, kind of stagger it and spread her legs a little bit, and then if you get her on a good surface, you can get her to stand, but you always have one leg kind of pointing forward a little bit more than the other. Now, that's not bad, but I don't know, like I said, if that's the way that the figure is meant to be, or if I just got one where the plastic is a little bit warped. Now, for her articulation, the head basically just looks left and right. It kind of looks like it is on a ball joint, but because of the way that the head is, you don't get hardly any up and down movement, so you just basically are getting left and right. The shoulders move out that far. They're on the little pin hinge joint, so they hinge outward, and then they can rotate 360 degrees. The elbows bend, it's about maybe like 85 degrees or so. It's not a full 90 degrees, and then you can see that they rotate at the elbow as well. The wrists, all of them do rotate, and then they do flex forward and back, which is really nice. She doesn't have any waist articulation, but that's pretty standard with the female characters. Now, the only one, and I'll bring her out, that I have for display purposes is Catwoman, because all these figures I'm just going for the animated series look, not the new adventures, so I'll show you that here in a second. Her hips do move forward and back. They move in and out, but again, when you rotate them out like that, it really gets very ugly in the crotch area. And then the ankles, unfortunately, they don't rotate, which I don't know why they couldn't have put a rotation in there. They could have put this section right here on a rotation, but it doesn't rotate. And then you can see that she does have this weird ankle kind of tilt thing where you can get her legs like spread really far out. I don't even know if you can get her to balance. Let me see if can use her hands and get her to balance. Yeah, you can get a wide pose like that. So I mean, that's pretty impressive that you can actually do that. I mean, I just really don't like the way that they did the ankles, and while the staggered foot thing isn't bad, like I said, if that's not the way that it's supposed to be, it's kind of unfortunate that mine turned out that way. Luckily, you do have this display stand here where you can just bring this up, bring this in, and this goes around her waist very easily. I mean, it completely goes around her waist, so it's going to hold her standing up here perfectly fine. So this is a case where the display stand really does help kind of stabilize the actual figure herself. She doesn't have any feet holes though, which I think the males do. No, yeah, the males do, so I guess maybe because they're smaller feet. Now, setting her here and getting her balanced so I can do some comparisons for you guys. Stand, there we go, set that there. Here we have her next to the Catwoman figure. Like I said, this is the only other female figure that I have. I know that they've released a couple other female characters, but she definitely has a little bit of a hard time standing as well because of her feet. But you can see that Catwoman is a little bit taller than Harley is, which is nice. I like the fact that there is variation in the size here, and they're not just reusing that same body. This is definitely a different body. You can see proportionately she is much smaller. I mean, not to point it out, but her chest area is larger on Catwoman than it is on Harley. So, like I said, I do like the fact that they do not just reuse the same body. Each of these characters have their own distinct look in the cartoon, and I love the fact that they're homaging that by doing that with the toys themselves. And of course, it would not be a complete review unless I showed her next to her main squeeze, the Joker himself. And again, you can see a big difference in terms of the size. It just fits perfectly. You know, in terms of the likeness and everything, they nailed it so very well. It even translates here to the sizes of the figure. I think that they did an amazing job. Now, honestly, for the most part, there has not been something that DC Collectibles has done with these animated series figures that I've not liked. And Harley is definitely a case where I really like just about everything they're doing with it. The only thing that I really don't particularly care for are the ankles. Regardless if it's supposed to be staggered or not, I really do wish there was a rotation in it. That would just help things out a little bit more. You know, again, bringing in Catwoman, she didn't have a rotation down here at the actual ankle, but she did have a rotation up here so that you could rotate her leg out like that, which I do like, and I wish that they did something like that with Harley here. I don't know why you couldn't have put a rotation right down there, right above her shoe, but maybe it was just because it's such a small kind of twig of a leg, I guess. They didn't think that they could fit all that kind of in that area, but like I said, that's a very minor gripe in my opinion. Everything else on this figure is top-notch. Like I said, the paint is really very nice, sharp, crisp, and accurate to how Harley looked in the cartoon. It is a little bit disappointing in terms of her accessories. The gun is kind of generic, I think. The hands are just basically standard, and then all you get is a Joker fish, which, like I said, you can kind of also use for the Joker himself. You just have him hold it. So I guess that's an accessory that I feel could go either way. So I would have liked to have seen more stuff thrown in with her, especially since she comes in at that $25 price point. But in general, I really do like her, and I think Batman Animated Series fans are going to go crazy for her. I mean, like I said, Harley has really, in a very relatively short period of time, I mean, she's not been around as long as the Joker or Catwoman or Batman. She busted in the scene in Batman the Animated Series and really has stolen the hearts of a lot of people. And I think this toy absolutely does the character justice. So if you like her and you're interested in picking her up, she is available right now at Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can check out availability on her, as well as the rest of the DC collectible line. I'd also like to mention that this figure was provided via the support of my patrons. So if you'd be interested in becoming a patron, all you have to do is check out patreon.com/Optibotimus, and you can see all the details on that page itself. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus, and until next time, I'll talk to you later.